Welcome to Road to Pro, Episode 5. The past 4 have been absolutely monumental in increasing skill. Going from PS4 to PC has been one of the hardest challenges I've ever done, and today will be no exception. Welcome to the 5th installment where absolutely the meat grinder goes hard. In your last episode, I was talking about how I started popping off in mechanical skill, and this week it was all about game sense. It's actually been way more than a week. It's about a month and a half since the last installment, and a lot has changed. Back when I was training my mechanical skill, yeah, that took me really far. That got me to Diamond. But I really need to bring back what really got me up in PS4, and at that time, it was really just general. I was able to outsmart the enemies. They weren't able to hit me as Lucio. I was the DSP Stanky. I was the poor man's version, actually, because that man just practiced and played a lot more than I did at the time, but now I'm taking it all back. I decided to go back to my roots and really talk about how I just wanted to practice this thing that I used to do that I don't really do anymore. In the last 2 months, I've been kind of a Roadhog main, soldier main, trying to get that mechanic ready. And in a lot of those senses, I've kind of lost my touch. Back in PS4, nobody would be able to kill me. I once had a game playing against all top 500 players, and literally, I almost caused my team to win in overtime just by being on the cart. I had 6 or 7 minutes on overtime, and at the time that was one of the most glorious moments, but obviously my team just kind of got picked right away, speed boosted. One of them, I felt them, I don't know, man, it was just terrible. But I still remember the glorious card I had. I don't think anyone has had an objective time card except me in the world. But now coming to PC, it's a lot different. And when I came to PC, part of me was like, maybe I might not want to be Lucio right here. It's a little more difficult to try not to get hit, and obviously I just didn't train him. And I got this DM from this guy. He's like, hey, why don't you try it for my team, man? See how you do. And I'm like, all right, man. Even though I haven't played Lucio in a while, I'll try it out. Try to bring back some of my game sense. And obviously things are different now. Just some of the voice mechanics, stuff like that. I was able to really get really good in this game. But obviously, the more and more I work, I kind of realized more and more things about other people and how the game is played. And just playing in these scrims really helped me get in touch with how the PC community is versus the PS4 community. Whereas I think that not only is the skill different, but the way of play is different. I feel like going from skirmishes on PS4 is a lot different than going from the hand-to-hand, moment-to-moment combat on PC, and that's something I'll try to learn more often. But I highly doubt I'll be using Lucio as much as I'll try to become the master of something a little bit more worthwhile in my solo queue. But if there ever is a time to play scrims, that time is right now for playing kind of the role of the healer, the person who can really get those battles in command, become the general. And obviously becoming the general on PC is so much different on PS4 than PC. Not uploading for a month. I've been training so hard trying just to get these skills down that I've really managed to clock in about, goddamn, like 60 hours. I believe way over that in just the course of this short amount of time. Right now it's March 5th, and things are just going absolutely insane in the tournament world, where everyone's kind of just getting together, scrimming, and trying to get to that top level. But obviously, even then, the skill difference is so massive. Some teams, like Cloud9, they don't even have a shot caller. And over here, I was trying to try out for the shot caller role, and obviously, I still need ways to go. I still need to learn the individuals who can play these roles. I need to learn their individual strategies and obviously make plans for them. But that is a long road, and these guys managed to let me play, and it was great playing with them. Obviously, I even managed to get 3 or 4 hours of just watching everyone play together with differing roles, differing people trying to support each other. And just different mechanics that Overwatch just has, and that only exists sometimes in the PC version, whereas everyone knows DSP Stinky, the God Lucio, who's just able to really dodge shots, become kind of like a DPS speed booster kind of role. And I don't think that role is kind of fit for the pro play. And he obviously came from PS4, and he had that tricky little Lucio gameplay that I come from. But he's not really much of a shot caller role. He's not much of a player who can really assess situations quickly and do stuff like that. Obviously, that Lucio's not trying to jump around and DPS everyone. He's obviously kind of the background role, and that's an important role to play, absolutely. I just think the whole game of Overwatch is convoluted, and I'm getting so much better at being able to just really pick apart the game and really put it into fundamental parts, and I think that's really the most exciting part of Overwatch to me. Absolutely. When I do go pro, I hope to look back at this as kind of what my initial experience with everybody who's kind of playing at almost the top tier level, but still way more to go. And a lot of these pro teams, they're so insane to the fact that I not only have to play with people in scrims for 6 hours, but then I also have to queue for more. Those Koreans, they literally spend 12-13 hours a day playing Overwatch. That's why the Koreans are dominating EU. If you've seen, the EU teams only play around 6 or 7 hours a day, and they get absolutely stomped in a lot of cases just because people don't really know how to react to that much playtime. If you ever heard of this guy named Evermore, #1 player in the world, 5,000 season rank, absolutely dominated everyone. I don't think he lost it one season, because obviously he loses here and there, but most of the time he does manage to win. And for the next month or so, maybe even a week until the next upload, I will be focusing 100% on watching VODs, whether it be mine or pro players. I might tone it down a little bit on the play, but still be playing 4, 5, 6 hours a day. But I still need to really focus on that, because what's the point of playing when you don't really understand the niches and the things that really separate you from other people? And that's where pros kind of get it right, especially the Koreans. You just have to outwork. I know that I could get on an EU or a US team, absolutely, sometime in the future, but for now I just have to play to my best, play like a Korean. Actually, those guys are insane. They've absolutely dominated every single sport they've invested in the time in. They're not really huge Counter-Strike players, so that's why the Europeans are really good at that, but they're amazing in all the games they do choose to play. Overwatch is no exception. As you can see in the most recent tournaments, they've kind of dominated everything. Some of the EU teams here and there, like Envious, they almost managed to win, but they just got stomped by the current meta. Maybe, just maybe, if it goes triple DPS, they have some of the most talented single individual players, but then just the Koreans have just as good players with just a little bit more coordination needed. But that's really it. Thank you for watching Road to Pro episode 5. See you guys in the next one.